Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hi. I'm just gonna jump right into it. Hi. Welcome to House of Ideas. I am your host, Devin. I'm really terrible. I'm still terrible at intros after all these years. I say this every episode. Hi, welcome to the House of Ideas. I am your host, Devin, of course, blah, blah, blah. Here to talk about comics and nerdy shit, because I'm a nerd. And in the description below, if you ever so kindly to look, there will be a linky link that'll take you to a page that will have all the other podcasts and the Neonic Void Productions, as well as the YouTube channel. If you want to go listen to some D&D, learn about some mythology, maybe learn about a new movie or learn about a new spooky movie or a new spooky video game. If you want to get into the world of horror, there's that there too. Or if you want to listen to two people talk about books, there's all those shows in the description below. Otherwise, please enjoy today's episode. I was going somewhere with that, but I brain fart. So today I am joined with the one, the only, aka on Twitter known as Fused Twlight, Tim. Hi,
Hello.
Tim. What's
nice
up?
to meet you. Finally able to do this podcast. We've been planning this for like a month.
Yeah, we've been planning it for a month, but every time we get around to do it,
I know it's like it's either I can't do it because it's
on my end.
It's either the internet's acting up for you or scheduling for me. And then like even before when we were first getting ready to do this, I was having microphone issues. Like we could hear I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. And then we finally figured it out. I'm just like, oh please no, not again, not like this. I'm so close. I'm so close.
So close. So, before we get into the main topic of today's episode, Tim, tell me what got you into comic books? Marvel, DC, otherwise?
Well, kind of a little bit of both. Because, as a kid, I watched the Batman cartoon when it was on then Fox Kids. I also watched, the X-Men cartoon. That's what kind of like got me into it. And, I was just watching cartoons, DC and Marvel. And then I got into the Spider-Man. I got to give a shout out, of course, to Spider-Man, that cartoon. And, then my mom, she actually started giving me comics to help me learn to read. Because, it had pictures, but I wanted to know what they were talking about. Because, why are they fighting? Why are they getting along? And so, I had to, in order to understand what was going on, I had to, actually put some proactivity into learning how to read. And so that's how I just, I liked the storylines, as a kid, I was so confused. I'm like, that's odd. That's not how it happened on the cartoon I watched, But I got older and I just kept on watching everything. I watched X-Men Evolution, I watched Wolverine the X-Men, I watched Superman cartoon, I watched Justice League, and I also did research into the comic history, Teen Titans. People like to talk smack on the cartoon that came on Cartoon Network. What was it, 2003? I was like...
Oh, the...
And, that's what got me into Teen Titans right there. I had never heard of them. So then I was doing research on them, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. All these storylines, my god. All the times Raven goes evil, she beats the hell out of Starfire at her own wedding. Slade Wilson and his messed up family dynamic, and his sweet little cinnamon roll son, Jericho, who dies but comes back as a spirit, and... yeah, And I like it so much better than Go. Like, I saw Teen Titans Go on like the TV guide. I'm like, wait, did they bring back Teen Titans? And I put it on, and it's like, the hell is this? I mean,
I wish they did.
I get it. It's for an obvious younger generation and everything, but at the same time, it's like, ugh, you couldn't just bring back the main series.
I thought they were for a minute, because in the Teen Titans Go movie at the very end, they have that reference, they have that pullback to the original Teen Titans.
I heard about that, and I'm like, great, they just cartoon teased us.
Yeah, because you would think.
Because I liked it. I mean, yeah, it was goofy and cartoonish, but it also had some like really serious moments, like the whole storyline with Tara in season 2, Robin being messed with by Slade. Like that. I think was it season 2 where it's season 3, because it's after they all think Slade is dead, and then Robin starts seeing hallucinations about him and everything, and then it's like. It could get pretty dark at certain times, and I like shows of any kind that can do that. Like, they have like some levity and humor, but then they can have like these really serious, down to earth moments of plot and everything. I'm just like I guess I'm just like one of those people that, like, one minute I'm all about the happiness, then I'm all about the seriousness. My personality switches from Batman to Superman. But yeah, so that's how I'm rambling. But yeah, so that's how I got into the comics. I was young. My mom wanted me to put some energy into learning how to read, and I've read Spider-Man, Thor, X-Men. Day before, like Wikipedia and the wikis and everything. So I had to do like a lot of deep diving to like all these like random sites to like find out all these like little tidbits of lore and everything, and it was really fun. It took a lot of time and effort, and I got there. And and even today, like, I'm still learning things about like these characters that were introduced that were really cool a long time ago, but we haven't seen them since. Then every once in a while, someone remembers them and brings them back. Kind of sort of what happens with Monica, ironically enough.
Yeah, more or less.
And I remember learning about her during Civil War back in 2006, the first one between Cap and Iron Man. And that was when she was when she was in that one miniseries, what was it? Agents of Hate? No, it's
Agent of Hate?
Is that what it was? The Agents of Hate? It was with her, Tabitha, Elsie Bloodstone.
Yes.
What the name of the series was? Agents of Hate?
Yeah, Agent of Hate, yeah.
Agents of Hate. And I did a little bit of research into her then. Not a lot. And ironically enough, I really didn't start getting into her until like 2013, when she joined the Mighty Avengers, which was like around the time when the storyline with Thanos coming to Earth with the Black Order to find his son. Yeah. And when she joined the Mighty Avengers, and she got injured by Proxima Midnight with her spear, which messed up the photons of her body, and then she got healed by Black Adam, but he also increased her power level. And that was like around the time I got interested in her, because I'm like, oh, pretty interesting. I think I remember about her. And the more she appeared and everything, the more interested I got. And now like I'm full on fanboy.
Now my upbringing was pretty much the same. I mean, I go through this every episode as well. But cartoons, Spider-Man, X-Men, some DC stuff, but mostly Marvel. The movies, growing up watching the Spider-Man, X-Men, all those movies, and then of course the MCU coming out. Granted, I feel like an old man because I'm like 31, so I've been around. I've seen all the 90s cartoons and so on, and the newer ones, and I I guess the Marvel comics, I didn't really get into the comics of probably 2015 for Secret Wars. That was my first big event, and I just jumped in on. Because everything else, I was just reading, like, I was big in manga. And I mean, I still am.
Yeah.
But 2015, I was like, you know what? I think it's about time to dive into the comic book world. Because I did research on, like, on the history of the comics and the characters and stuff. I never picked up one, really. I'm like, I'm going to read this. But then I heard about Secret Wars, and I'm like, oh, well, this is a good jumping on point.
Oh, that was a great storyline.
Oh, so good.
Like, the whole, like, from the beginning, when they first laid down the foundations for like leading to that event, was just chef's kiss. You know what I mean? Everything came together great. Everyone had their time to shine, and then it brought in Miles from the Ultimate Universe. Good times.
Oh, yes. And then I first was introduced to the episode we're doing today, ladies and gents, if you don't know, is Monica Rambeau. I was first introduced to Monica during the Ultimates.
Yeah, I'm so happy for her, because the funny thing about Monica is actually a tragic character, because she she first appeared back in Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16 in 1982. She was created by Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. And she is the second person, the first woman, and the second person to be called Captain Marvel, because the original Captain Marvel, Marvel, the Kree super warrior, and then that was even brought up in that issue, I believe, with her, like, because the people in the press were calling her Captain Marvel, and she's like, I don't know about that, but the thing, he's like, hey, Marvel will be okay with it, so she started going by Captain Marvel, and then over time, eventually Captain America made her the team leader of the Avengers, and she is iconic. I say iconic. I don't care what anyone says. She's iconic because not only is she the first black woman on the team, actually, I think she was actually on the team before Sam Wilson. But I think maybe so. Yeah. But yeah, she was, and not only that, but the first woman of color and person of color to lead the team. One right there.
Yeah.
And over time, Roger Stern, her creator, was giving her more and more prominence for his long-term run in the Avengers series. But this conflicted with Mark Gruenwald's plans, because, Gruenwald wanted to, of course, focus on Captain America. And they clashed over this. It got to the point where they had that because now all of a sudden she was like experienced to be leading the Avengers, even though she was chosen by Captain America to lead the Avengers, she stepped down and he became like the leader again. And it even got to the point where when the Submariner Namor's wife, Mariana, went crazy and became this gargantuan creature called the Leviathan, Thor and Monica worked together to stop her. He used lightning, she turned to lightning, but the problem was when she hit the water of the ocean, it caused her to disperse. And she very near died, because when they thought she was dead, but then she was able to pull herself back together, but she was like severely weakened and she couldn't use her abilities, and she had to go on like a hiatus and to recover. And yeah, flash forward several decades. Well, not several, but basically she was forgotten. I mean, she did appear here and there, but it was always more like the backup character. Her powers were altered, where instead of turning into energy, she was just like creating like a force field around her body that gave her super strength and other things. It was lame, but yeah, and when that happened, Roger Stern, he was upset. He didn't want this to happen to her, and he left Marvel and went to DC. And if I remember correctly, I believe Roger Stern was the one that came up with the Death of Superman storyline. Is that him?
Let me look that up real quick. Death of Superman. Future Devin, take this part out. Death of Superman. That was... Who were you saying?
Roger Stern.
What was the name? Roger Stern was on the list of writers for all 3 arcs, so he was part of the writing
there
team.
you go. You know, if it wasn't for him leaving the team, leaving Marvel, you know, the guy that created Monica, he helped do the storyline, or Death of Superman storyline that gave us characters like Kid Flash. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All these, you know, that's the one thing that sucks about being, you know, a comic fan when you're in love with like DC and Marvel, is trying to keep track of all the heroes and villains and characters. I mean, you know, it's the guy that created Monica Rambeau. He helped bring us, you know, Superboy. You know, when you look at like even what she was capable of doing for, you know, she lost her powers, got these like, you know, main power, this like much weaker version, and then inexplicably got her original abilities back. She was, you know, she was capable of she did some amazing things. Because her power is she can turn into any form of energy on the electromagnetic? I think it's,
The spectrum of light.
Basically, light, radio waves, electricity, X-rays, microwave, infrared radiation, ultraviolet radiation, cosmic rays, gamma, and a whole bunch of other, like, pretty much any energy. Now,
she technically doesn't have a body anymore, technically speaking, because her body is nothing but just pure energy.
Yeah, I think that might have changed, because I think when she got that power up, Blue Marvel to save her life, and that's what made her mostly energy, because she said that she was immortal, because that was during the Avengers storyline where they had to fight Nyx.
Yes, in
Yeah,
the dark.
she's like, you know, it's because she was connecting with Vision about humanity and feeling disconnected, and she's like, you know, I'm pretty much just light now that looks human, you know, I'm immortal, but then after she gives him like a little power up, you know, she like burns out that power, and she goes back to like, you know, her regular pre-Blue Marvel power up. Still nothing to be trifled with. I gotta add that, you know, just because she's not immortal with hyper cosmic awareness, do not think that, you know, she's weak or anything.
She get back up on.
And the thing about it gives her so many abilities. Like, she can become pure light, and thereby she gains the speed of light. So, you know, she can travel in space, become invisible, become, you know, like light. She can phase through objects. She can actually travel through barriers, because, you know, barriers, like even the Invisible Woman's, it lets light in. She turns on the light and she's in the barrier.
Yeah.
And and this also lets her give huge power boosts, especially to characters that use energy. Like, she's turned into Gamma and powered up She-Hulk. She's powered up Captain Marvel. Yeah. There was even, like, not too long ago in Black Panther, she powered up Storm. Then, and it's so many energies she can turn into. Like, she turned into neurokinetic energy in order to connect her mind with the minds of, like, several other characters, and they were able to have, like, a group mind session. So, like, imagine she did something like that with, like, Xavier or Emma Frost or Jean Grey. Like, she could potentially be like a super cerebral, where, like, instead of just connecting one, she's connecting all of them, and they do some telepathic shenanigans.
I mean, that's not too far-fetched nowadays. Technically, she is a mutant.
Mixed feelings on that. I mean, I love mutants. I love X-Men, because I just feel like, does everyone have to be a mutant? Because
No, but I mean, it kind of explains her powers, though, because it was stated that that she was able to do this at a young age. So it kind of makes sense.
I mean, because the thing was, in the comics originally, she was a member. She was in the Harbor Patrol, and she was contacted by an old family friend. and he told her about how he had inadvertently made a device that was going to be used by some criminals. So they traveled off to like an oil rig, and they snuck in, and they found the guy was going to activate it to destroy his city, just to flex his muscles or whatever. And she was able to just randomly start slamming stuff, to try and stop it. And that's what opened up a portal to another dimension that just blasted her with the energy and turned her into Captain Marvel. We can call her whatever we want. And but then during the Agents of Hate, it gave this conflicting storyline where she accidentally killed a dog with energy powers, zapped it. Or R.I.P. that poor dog. It's so funny. I can see an entire planet get eaten by Galactus, be cosmic nature, but one poor little animal. I'm just like, no. That really talks about my mentality, I fear. But and then it was later revealed that apparently the Beyond Corporation had altered her memories, the memories of everyone else involved. Because it also explained why her personality was so different. Usually she's calm, collected, but then in Agents of Hate, she was a lot more aggressive, a lot more gung ho. But and then recently, Photon series that came out, I believe, was it last year? This year?
I think wasn't it this year? The Photon?
And thinking either the final 2 issues, it revealed that she did indeed have powers when she was a kid, and then the writer did kind of low-key confirm, she is a mutant.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to be doing a thing where it's oh, these characters are mutants, that characters are mutants. Because I hate that, because, the fact that it's not because she didn't survive because she was a mutant. She survived, because why does the Incredible Hulk survive after Bruce Banner? After getting hit by gamma radiation. Why does Peter Parker survive after getting bit by a radioactive spider? Why does the Fantastic Four get radiation? It doesn't have to be because they're mutants. They're mutates, but not. I know that's sometimes you gotta make these little retcons, because it's a floating timeline, and sometimes you also gotta add something new and change things up a little bit. But at the same time, either or, I'm okay with it. If she joins the X-Men, great. More power to her. Any way to get her attention and the recognition she deserves, I say, because when you look at the fact that first woman of color on the Avengers and their first team leader that was black, and then being able to turn into any kind of energy. And that's the funny thing about that is she appeared in Justice League versus Avengers, and DC versus Marvel.
Yeah.
She fought Green Lantern. The thing is, she can turn into energy, but it's a foreign energy she's not familiar with. She'll need time to understand it and figure it out how it works, because she has that kind of sense now. Then once she figures out it's Matrix or whatever, she can turn into energy. Well, that happened with Green Lantern, where she was able to turn into Green Lantern energy and then fight against Green Lantern. So imagine she's fighting, of course, Superman, and since kryptonite is a form of radiation, she can turn into radiation. And here's the thing. She can also make herself into solid light. She can become solid when she fights Superman as solid kryptonite energy, or she can just remain in form. So that way, Superman can't touch her, and every time he does, he's just hurting himself. Or she could just go right into his body. She's literally shrunk herself down to travel as light into a person's eye to give him the mother of all migraines. She's turned, like I said, the neuro energy thing, turning to gamma, turning into all these other energies to help energy-based characters. She can, fly, shoot energy blasts. She can create holograms, basically illusions, to confuse her enemies and everything. She can alter her size. So I'm not sure if she can still do that, though, because I'm not sure if that was like a result of power-up she got from Blue Marvel. But, when you look at this character's history and what she's capable of, it really does... And then the reason why it happened. Like the fact that the then editor didn't want this woman, this black woman, to, get such a big spotlight and everything, instead put Captain America there. When, especially nowadays, when a lot of stuff like that is called out and, vocalized about, it really does make you want to support her, because she's a badass. She's the second Captain Marvel, and even in the comics, she's gone through various names in the comics, and there's kind of like a funny story about that, because she took the name Photon originally because Captain Marvel's son Genesis wanted name because it was a birthright thing, and after they did a mission together, she agreed to let him have it, that he earned it. And years later, he took the name Photon, and there was like a funny issue where she's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, I forgot. And she's like, "You were right there when I took the name." So then she took Pulsar as a name. And then I believe it was when she joined the Mighty Avengers, she took the name Spectrum. And then
that's what I know her originally as, a Spectrum.
And she only recently took back the Photon name, which is okay, because I believe at the time Genesis was dead. I mean, he's back now, but yeah, he just needs to stay away. I'm still salty that he took her name twice. Like, people like to bitch and moan about Carol. She took her name. Carol took this from her. She wasn't using it at the time Carol became Captain Marvel. And what about Genesis? He's the one that literally stole her name twice. But you're gonna give him a pass, really?
Period.
Needless to say, I'm salty with Genesis. She's just a great character, and I'm so happy that she's getting more and more recognition. She's getting more and more fandom. Her fame and everything's coming back up. It's been a long time overdue, because she has so much to offer. In terms about hating on Carol, and that's one thing that I kind of get irritated about, is when the Captain Marvel movie came out in 2018, because it became so popular to hate on Brie Larson because she's a man hater, she's woke, she's a toxic feminist, and of course they were bringing up how she stole Monica's name, she stole this from her. They just reduced her to like a kid hero, or a kid who worships a hero, but because she's a kid, because this takes place in the 1990s. They're obviously going to establish her at some point, because the fact that her mom's code name is Photon. Lo and behold, they cast Teyonah Parrish as Monica for WandaVision, and she recently came back, for the Marvels. And that's the thing. They can't make everything the MCU comic accurate. They have to make changes. And it makes,
it makes some liberties.
And also adds, like, certain familial connections they probably don't have in the comics. And it's also a good way to bring Monica in to acknowledge her, and instead of just waiting to pull her out left wing for whatever reason. And so I feel like, and so many times where I see people comparing Monica and Carol, it's always, support the superior Captain Marvel, support Monica. And it's like, do you even know about Monica? Do you know what makes Monica awesome? What makes her iconic? What? Or are you just using her as an excuse to bash this character that you like? If you like a character, you like a character, but don't be using that character to shit on another character. I just...
Yeah, exactly.
It's and it leaves a bad taste in the mouth, because, this woman should be honored and respected because of her accomplishment, and the things she's done, not used as like a reason to just belittle their character. And like I said, you know, whether it's because you don't like Brie Larson or you don't like her or whatever, don't, like I said, don't be using Monica or anyone else, because that's just I just feel like you're fishing. You know what I mean? You're fishing for a reason to hate.
Agreed.
I mean,
agreed.
that's like when people were bashing on She-Hulk. Oh, why does like when they first announced She-Hulk, I was literally seeing tweets. Why does everything have to be a female? Why does there have to be a She-Hulk? Why can't the Hulk just stay a man? It's like, you fucking idiot. She-Hulk has been around since.
Like, have y'all not opened up cracked open a comic book before in the 80s, 70s, something?
I know, right? And then the funny thing was, a little bit of trivia, if you didn't know if you knew this, but like in She-Hulk, when she's looking up that website, those hateful comments and everything, a lot of those were, if I remember correctly, a lot of those were like actual tweets they found on Twitter that they added to the show.
Oh my god!
They either were, or they were just like inspired by things that were said. So like, you know, keep the Hulk, my man, you know, just stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's a great burn. Like, all right, guys, you know, obviously complaints are being heard. They just don't care. But speaking of you know, Teyonah Parrish, you know, she does a wonderful job. I really like how, you know, she did in WandaVision, and of course the Marvels recently. Of course, the Marvels is where she shines, no pun intended. Great, you know, the whole storyline about her having been blipped away by Thanos, and then it was when her mom was undergoing chemotherapy for cancer, and she comes back, and her mom's surgery had been successful, but she had died in that 5-year period because the cancer had come back, and you know, Carol not having been around, or she had never seen Carol for, like, you know, I guess since the last time she saw her as a kid.
90s, yeah.
Oh, the way she connected with Wanda, because she understands where Wanda's coming from through the grief, and, you know, that's another thing people were criticizing about Monica is, oh, she gives the white woman a pass, you know, she protects her, she lets her get away with being a gaslighter and everything, and, well, you know, and Monica even tells Wanda, you know, I probably would have done the same thing, because, you know, when you lose someone you love dearly, not just a lover, but like a family member, especially such a tragic way. Because, I mean, think about it, like, you find out it's 5 years later, you've been presumed dead, or were dead technically, and it's like, okay, yeah, the surgery did work, but sometime after that, it came back, and now she's dead. It's like, it's like people really underappreciate how trauma can affect these characters with like these godlike powers. Like, I mean, as you know, criticism aside, you know, I always, like, when I criticize something, I try to look at it from all points of view. Like, you know, I can see what certain criticism for, you know, the Captain Marvel movie. There were some things I liked and things I didn't like. Like, I didn't like what they did with Marvel. Like, I don't care if they made Marvel a woman.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the fact that, you know, Captain Marvel is like, you know, was a huge character back in the day. You know, he was like, you know, one of the poster boys. But then in the movie, like,
I would have done the whole, honestly, the way I would have done it is I would have done the first, have like 2 movies before the Marvels. Would the first movie be carved about Captain Marvel and introduce like Brie Larson in some way as Miss Marvel, and then the second one, he has his death, like he does in the comics, or something similar, and then that's when Carol takes on the Captain Marvel name. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, like, and, like she had no powers in the movie, because like Captain Marvel in comics, he was a powerhouse, like, because, you know, he's part of the, you know, a super soldier from the Kree, and then he was also like chosen by what was it named? That one cosmic entity that's green and looks like a mixture between a tree and with a human face, like Groot's god or something like that. Not literally just an oak, but it wasn't Ego. It was like it chose like the champion to be Quasar.
Oh yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Starts with an E.
I can't think of his name either.
See too many characters. But yeah, it just would have been cooler to show that Marvel could do something that wasn't just pretty much nothing.
Oh,
and it also sucks because
that's fair.
It also affects by making her dead like that. I mean, because now they've changed the origin stories for Phyla appeared, Captain Marvel's daughter appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. She was one of the kids who were created by the High Evolutionary, and she was on the team at the end of the movie. She was that little Asian girl.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I didn't like it, because if they do introduce Genesis, however you say his name, probably not going to be related to her unless he was one of the other kids or something, and and plus I was also hopeful that because the Eternals were in there, but then I watched the movie and they had that the Eternals are basically like bio robot things. They're like a little bit of living, a little bit of technology or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so I guess they probably wouldn't be Eternals. They could still have it that they're Kree. But no, she's a fish that was evolved into a humanoid being, and Genesis hasn't even appeared. And that also affects Hulkling if he ever appears in the series, because Captain Marvel is his dad. That's another reason why him and Wiccan are a power couple. That's another reason why him and Wiccan are a power couple, because the dad was Captain Marvel, his mom was Scarlet Witch. I remember some people saying that Marvel was going to have it that Scar, Hulk's son that we saw in She-Hulk, was going to be like a shoe-in for Hulkling, and it's like, no. But just wait and see. Don't be thinking negatively yet, but I ramble a lot. I really do go off course a lot of the time. But
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. You are fine. You are allowed to ramble.
I get lost in my own thoughts. But anyway, back to Monica. But I do understand some criticisms, but others I think are just blown out of proportion and just used as an excuse to bitch and moan about stuff. But I really do like how she's portrayed. The connection between her and Carol, which we see in the Marvels when they finally reunite, and we find out the reason why Carol didn't come back. It was because she was too ashamed because of what happened with the High Evolutionary. The Supreme Intelligence, the Kree Supreme Intelligence. Yeah. Because she thought killing that would free the Kree, because they were being mentally gaslit or whatever by it, and no, that didn't work out. They just started warring on each other because everyone wanted to be the new king, and they really fucked up their planet doing it. And hell, they even practically killed their son. And so that's why they were calling Carol the Annihilator, and that's why she didn't want Monica to see her, because she was ashamed. She wanted her to see Auntie Carol, not the Annihilator. And I should have just called her the Destroyer, because I feel like Annihilator was a little too fancy. It's the Annihilator. Just called her the Destroyer. Yeah. Because if she was the Annihilator, y'all would be dead.
Agreed.
I mean, yeah, she annihilated the Supreme Intelligence, but still.
I mean, she followed up on her word, and she was going to go back and fuck it up, and she went back and she did. She fucked it up.
And I get that they were being manipulated by the Supreme Intelligence and everything for a millennia or whatever, but can we really give the Kree that much of a pass? I mean, they've been how many Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, they're talking about all the people, all the planets destroyed by Kree, like Ronan and everything. Oh, well, he was a rogue. Yeah. But then we don't give the Kree a pass. They have to take some responsibility for their actions.
And of course, you got the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh my
I think it was the last
really
season or two with the Kree.
Oh,
And what the Kree did with the whole fucking everything up, and they had to go back in time and shit to fix what the disasters they were doing. Yeah, no, fuck the Kree.
They really showed how much the Kree are. I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's like, you know, everything, but
they deserve what they got.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah, like when she tells the scroll, when they're at those peace treaty or whatever, yeah, we're gonna relocate you because we're gonna take the air here. It's like, dick move.
Yeah, that's a big dick move. But I mean, that's like, that's the Kree's attitude. We take care of us, fuck everyone else.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, there are good Kree, you know, especially in the comics. You see, like, you know, Captain Marvel.
I mean, yeah, of course.
So, you know, I don't say they all deserve to die, but, you know, maybe you guys really need to take a hard look at, you know, what you've done.
The Empire as a whole needs to go.
Maybe one or two other species not liking you, but then when you get like a whole galaxy of people just saying what trash you are, maybe it is you.
Yeah, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and rethink up some things, you know?
And, you know, start finding out like how much, you know, that can't be true. Why would they say that about the Supreme Intelligence said something different, or I don't know. Yeah, the relation. I loved how, you know, their relationship in the Marvels, you know, the funniness of it, the seriousness, and then, you know, them bonding when she finally reveals why she didn't come back. You know, it was shame, and, you know, she didn't want Monica to see her as anything else. And then we find out that Carol did go back to Earth. It was after she got blipped, and, you know, that scene with, you know, her remembering her last moment with Maria. It's like, shot through the heart. Yeah, I don't care what anyone says about, oh, it's a bomb, oh, it's the fall of the MCU. It's not like they were able to promote the movie because there was like the whole writers and then actors strike going on. Funny enough, the only one that was doing interviews was the cat. They actually had like the cat in like a little seat, and they were like, you know, so what do you think? But
yes. Goose.
Is there a certain hero fatigue? Sure. I'm not afraid to say that. And one thing I hate is what they call the MCU formula. Oh, this movie didn't do good because it followed the MCU formula. Oh, this movie isn't cinematic. Oh, superhero movies are destroying cinema. Yeah, if superhero movies were destroying cinema, I would be seeing superhero movies actually winning awards. You know, like not just from like MTV. I'm talking about like, you know, the big leagues and everything.
Oscars.
No, it's like, and you talk about repetition, how it's always the same thing. What about all these freaking 18th, 17th century freaking English dramas? Basically just, you know, another Downtown Abbey. You know what I mean? I mean, like, seriously, like, so many times these movies get nominated, and it's like, I've only heard of a handful of these. I mean, there could be some really good ones like Parasite. Oh my god. The stink that a lot of people made because, oh, that's not an American movie. There's all these movies that were nominated from England. Can't quite, or should I say, quite understand why you guys are making a big deal. You know, so if you don't like a superhero movie, don't watch it. And, you know, has every Marvel film been a success? Whether it's financially or story-wise? No. Like I said, I did like Captain Marvel, but there was things I didn't like. I do think the Marvels was a lot better in many ways, but I understand why, you know, in the Marvels, you know, Carol's a lot more emotional, a lot more expressive, because when we see her in Captain Marvel, she's just finding out that, you know, she's not, you know, a Kree warrior. She's actually a human from Earth that was abducted against her will and her memory stolen, and finding out that she's been inadvertently helping in the genocide of the Skrull and helping with their agenda and whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so she doesn't show. I mean, she does have like little like moments of humor. She's just not. She's stoic. She's a warrior. She's composed. But then when we see her, in the Marvels and some of the other appearances she had, she's a lot more expressive. She's a lot more open. She's a lot more normal.
Yeah.
It's a complicated thing. That whole situation, the whole criticisms and everything. It's like how many?
Yeah, I think people are just looking for something to dislike and hate, and I don't know. I think it's because of the people that hate Brie Larson like to the fullest extent, and I'm just like, okay, I guess whatever you do, you.
No, it's like also.
But Marvels was really good.
It's like storyline wise, all the fight scenes were great. Like the chemistry between Teyonah, Brie, and Iman. Is that how you're saying Iman?
I think so, yes.
They were just great together. I loved their energy, and when they were training to use their powers together for the switching thing, that was great. And showing how Captain Marvel was dealing with connecting with her little niece, and then having to deal with this fangirl, and then Mala, being a fangirl, but at the same time also kind of learning to chill and take things more seriously, and the consequence of having to make tough choices like what they had to do when they left some of the Skrull behind. And then but I think one of the best parts was the end when they charged up Monica and she was really in photon mode. I was like, yes, Queen, yes. And then but we have to talk about the bonus scene when she's in the X-Men universe. She wakes up and sees her mom, and it turns out her mom's binary. Holy shit! Everyone's talking. I loved how Hank was there. Beast was there and everything. He was comic book accurate with Kelsey Grammer voicing him, but seeing Maria as binary with the suit on and everything, I'm just holy shit, oh my god. Because, if anyone that knows anything about Carol Danvers knows that she was actually a member of the X-Men for a time. It was I think after she lost after she got attacked by Rogue, drew a huge portion of her memory and abilities. And when she woke up, it had a consequence of where basically she had almost no emotions or something. And she joined the X-Men for a while, and they had been abducted by the Brood, and something about the experiments the Brood did on Carol connected her to a white star, or a white hole. Basically white holes are the exact opposite of, black holes, where the black hole takes the white holes just pouring out all kinds of energy. And that's what allowed Carol to become binary. And binary is she's I think she's a cosmic level, maybe super surfer, because I know she's got 100-ton plus on the strength range or something like that. And something happened. I can't remember if it was naturally or something else, but the connection was severed, and it was assumed she lost that ability. But then it was discovered that if she can absorb a massive amount of energy, she can go binary again. But seeing that Maria is binary, it connects well to X-Men lore, and it's is she gonna have abilities basically just her variant from the Illuminati? Which is basically just what Carol has, or is she going to be even more powerful? Because in the comics, Carol is at her peak when she's binary. I would love that. If it turned out that this version of Maria, the binary version, is more powerful than Carol, I would love that, just because I think it would be awesome and cool, and just I would love to see it if she powers up, but when she does her skin turns red and her hair has a fiery corona effect, just like Carol's did. Yeah. I can't wait for the future. But yeah, it's Rambeau, she's finally getting her flowers, as they say. She's finally getting the recognition she deserves. Thank you, everyone, all the writers that have been working so hard the last decade to, like, keep her on teams like Mighty Avengers, the Ultimates, Strike Force, giving her own series, because it's so well overdue. You want to talk about, she should be up there with icons like Storm, because, like I said, iconic. She was the first for so many things. She has such unique abilities and everything. And, like, when you look at what she did in the Marvels, and then you look at what she's done in the comics, it's like, fools, she's only used about 30% of her power. And, I like how they depicted her as being super smart, because she had to, like, explain a lot of this scientific stuff, even to, like, Carol, even though Carol's, like, hanging out with aliens and traveling in space and everything.
Oh yeah, most definitely, because Monica, I mean, outside of being Captain Marvel, Spectrum, Photon, she is quite intelligent. She has like the smarts of like the Blue Marvel.
Oh.
Well, she's not as smart as him, obviously, because he's one of the genius, but like she's up there.
She's smart, but he's on a whole other level.
She's not like Blue Marvel. She's up there, but she's not like Blue Marvel, because Blue Marvel obviously is one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. Not the smartest, but he's up there.
Love Blue Marvel. Like, I was kind of iffy about when they had like a romantic relationship, simply because age difference. On the one hand, it's like, ooh, power couple. On the other hand, old enough to be her dad.
Yeah, he's a little up there.
I know he's got like that slow aging thing going on, but
yeah.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like if they introduce him in the MCU? Like, like, I hate to be petty, but I kind of do, just to, like, because to get the bigots all pissed off and everything. This is woke, this is pandering, these are rip-off of Superman. No, Superman isn't connected to antimatter. It's like, actually get your shit right, guys. What else? And,
right.
It's always cool to see, what direction they're going to take Monica next, because, like I said, her Photon series, if you're new to the character, this is like a really good way to get introduced to her storyline. And it also tackled like a lot in some of the issues she's had to deal with. It's like real life inspired art, because she's talking about never taking back, never becoming a leader of the team again, why she always kept herself kind of on the sidelines. Like, even the very first issue, like, she's getting a photo of this older lady's taking a selfie with her, and she calls her Captain Marvel, and she's like, oh, I don't go by that no more. She's like, oh, it doesn't matter to me, you'll always be Captain Marvel to me. It's like, oh. And going over her past, so, like, when you read it, you more or less get, like, up to date with her plot and everything. Kind of like, plot synopsis or whatever, but then also seeing her going on her own journey, like when she fought Moonstone, and Moonstone was like laughing at her because her powers are derived from manipulating a certain kind of energy, but then Monica's just like, oh yeah, what about infrared? And then she just blasts her. And then you think
blasted to oblivion.
She just knocked her ass out. Same thing, but and then you think, what would happen if she was to fight other energy-based characters like Electro or the Human Torch, or if she went up against Bishop, a guy that can absorb energy. Yeah, could he absorb her? Of course, but then what could she do to him once she's inside him? Because I'm sure it's not going to be pleasant.
No, that's true. Because it's...
I do know the only energy she can't is magical energy. That's like she's all about that science energy. She can't be messing around with magic. Like, that's not good for her.
Yeah.
But and then she can even, another feat I think that people need to know, that she is capable potentially of destroying a planet all by herself. During the Secret Wars, the last one, when the alternate universe and 616 were fighting, she actually planned to save her world by destroying the ultimate world by turning it into hard light and then just flying right into the Earth. of the Ultimate Universe, because light speed and a solid object, that's going to have some consequences. But she didn't do it because, just when she was about to, she saw some kids playing, and it caused her to pause, and that gave, the ultimate version of Reed Richards, the maker, to, capture her and everything. But if she could literally blow up a planet just by turning to hard light and then ramming into it, that makes you think, it really makes you think about, Captain Marvel in the MCU, how, she just, slams through, all these, spaceships and everything.
Yeah.
And then, if she were to turn to radiation or any kind of energy like that, hazardous effects.
I would love to see some of that.
Oh, yeah. There's still so much untapped potential that they have to do with Monica, and especially after the Photon series when she meets, this new incarnation of the Beyonder or something, and, he kind of, she, I should say, implies that, that hole was actually from the Beyond, from the Beyonder's incubation room or something, because that's how Beyonders reproduce. They just put them in little pocket universes. And it's that, it's it gave us some new lore. It wasn't just some random dimension, because there's so many random dimensions that someone draws power from. It's a good, and because she's fighting against the Beyond Corporation, and it's said that apparently it's run by a rogue group of Beyonders. And then you have that Monica kind of got her power, or not got her powers, but it's the Beyonders in that way, where being exposed to their energy reawakened her powers or whatever. And in a cosmic way, all kinds of stellar energies, cosmic energies, how she could work with the Guardians of the Galaxy or this and that. There's literally all these kind of energies we know about. It's can grant her such a plethora of abilities, because she can see energy, become energy, study it long enough, and she can become that energy. So I mean, her enemies could use some foreign exotic energy she's never seen, and then use that against her to trap her or something. But then she just eventually adapts to it and uses it again to her advantage. And the limits, they really haven't even really dug into what this woman is capable of. I mean, yeah, she may not be the strongest, but I mean, when she's in her normal form, she has human durability, human speed, human strength. But then the lady has literally outrun Hermes, the god of the message.
Yeah.
And she can't, as far as I know, she can't go faster than light. Because I remember, she did become light and travel all the way to Pluto. And it takes, she even mentioned it was, several hours later, because it takes, 6 hours from the sun to reach Pluto, I think. So it's not if, she does become a cosmic hero, she can't just, pop up all of a sudden. It's how'd you get here?
I mean, that's one of the reasons why they chose her for the Ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, unless she
obviously
uses one of those gates.
She can handle a threat.
Actually, not.
Oh, that too.
Hyperspace, because that's where they use to travel when they want to do the light speed stuff. That's also also where the Invisible Woman gets her powers from. The energy she derives to make her shields and everything, it comes from hyperspace. I mean, what if Monica turned into hyperspace energy? I mean, she could even become one of the 4 fundamental forces of the universe: gravity, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. I mean, that's one thing she can't do. She can only turn into one kind of energy at a time. So she can't become her arm can't be gamma, her leg can't be electricity, her head can't be fire, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not good, because that would make her even more terrifying.
Oh no, most definitely. That would be terrifying.
Yeah. So I feel like she's an underdog. She, at first, she was winning. She was being treated good by her creator and everything. But then, she got screwed over. and she was just put in the back wings to be an extra in the background when they needed a fight, or joining up with like, you know, a whole bunch of other characters for a mission or something, and just kind of like being a bit of a MacGuffin to use her abilities a little bit. Now we finally see her shining, finally getting back to that place she was in so long ago that has been long overdue. Now, you want to talk about black heroes? Here's a black hero for you. This is the lady. First black person to join the Avengers and the first black person to lead the team. Second Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
All these powers and abilities this chick has, and we still haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, we're still kind of like doing basic stuff because we see her use it in clever ways, like short circuit, electricity, power up other characters. I mean, neurokinetic energy to become like her own little kind of cerebral, like, I mean, like I just said earlier, connect a whole bunch of telepaths together and focus their telepathy or something, or maybe like thinking, like if you need to think of something fast, you know, I mean, what happens if she connects the minds of Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Blue Marvel, Shuri, and, you know, let them to like, you know, come up with like, you know, a solution or something. Make literally like a quantum computer by connecting all these super smart people. And then just any other kind of energy. And then you really start to think, yeah, she's a badass, yeah. And
she's a baddie.
Exactly, she is finally getting more recognition, and, you know, hopefully from here on out, it's only going to be smooth sailings for Monica. She can finally start getting up there to where she should be, because I feel like if it hadn't been for Grunwald, or whatever the hell his last name is, I don't like him, so I'm not going to care if I get his name right, doing what he did to her, and I feel like she definitely would be a lot more recognizable. I mean...
Oh no, most definitely.
And that's the sad thing about comics, you know, there's all kinds of characters that have been introduced that are like really interesting, but then they're dropped and forgotten.
They kind of just get sidelined and forgotten for decades until someone's like, hey, this character's cool, let's bring them back.
I know, and then it's like, all these times the end of the world was happening, and there was this character with this like very useful ability. It's like, where the hell were you at? It's literally like that scene in Avengers Infinity War where Okoye is like, how was she up there the whole time? It's like, you got these cool characters right here, and it's like, where the hell are they at? This entire time they could have been a help. So I'm just like, I really love Monica. I love her design. I love her abilities. I love her storyline. I love how she was like, you know, a member of the Coast Guard, and, you know, that was even a thing she faced as an issue where she wasn't getting promoted, and it was because, you know, she was a black woman. That was a thing. So if you want, you know, you want something the characters can connect with, not just because of how they look, but, you know, things they've experienced, prejudices. You know, she's literally like, you know, misogynor, literally and metaphorically speaking. She's had to endure that, and, you know, that's what affected her, you know, popularity. Or she just got brushed aside and forgotten. Then, you know, thankfully people, other writers remembered her and, you know, decided it's time to bring her back, put her in the spotlight, and the world has never been the same. Yeah, and
so to get this going a bit further, what's your favorite storyline for Monica?
My favorite?
Yeah. We'll do yours first, and then we'll go into mine.
I'm probably going to sound basic for saying this, but for me, I think it would have to be the Photon series. Because she did have like a 2-issue miniseries years and years and years ago. I feel like I said earlier, it's a great introduction to the character for new people who've never heard of her to get introduced to her, and it's also a really great exploratory journey for Monica. You know, what she's capable of, what she can do, dealing with, you know, personal and professional life, how much she's been held back and how much she's holding herself back. Stuff like that, you know? It's like, girl, you got all this. It's not just about because she's got all this power. It's also about, like, you know, her own doubts and insecurities and everything she's had to overcome. And I really like that series. You know, I love stories that, you know, show these heroes, even if they're super powerful and everything, going through like an identity crisis or doing some self-introspection and looking back on their life and their career and everything. And it was just so well done and well written and had like so... really do feel like it was just like all of Monica's history just like kind of like squeezed and compiled. I think everything in there, no, but just, you know, everything that was important, everything that has irritated and frustrated fans about Monica was kind of addressed in certain ways too. I just think it was really done, well done, and I like the art. Like, you know, right now I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Is the cover for the first one of the covers for Photon. It's like, that's right, take your name back. You know, I mean, Spectrum was a good name, but I also like Photon. Pulsar? No. We don't talk about Pulsar.
No. It's either Spectrum or Photon.
And
those are the only two names I'll
another
accept.
thing I like about her is the fact that, like, her original costume, she had a cape just like Storm's. Storm has like that cape that like attaches to, like, you know, her hands or whatever, her wrists. Monica had like something very similar. And I love how they did like a reference to that in the movie, because like when they are suited up, you know, Monica's, you know, showing that she's got like something similar, and she takes them off because, you know, they're impractical, but still it's like, thank you for that. But so what's your favorite Monica storyline?
My favorite. I am a humongous fan of the first story that I met Monica, aka going as Spectrum at the time, the Ultimates. I love the Ultimates. That's my shit right there. I'm a huge fan of the cosmic side of Marvel, and this series, oof, that was my shit. That was my team.
I know, like, they had such a badass cast. I mean, you got Monica, a Spectrum, you got T'Challa, Black Panther, you got Blue Marvel, you got America Chavez. It's like, and then you're seeing like what they're, because it's like the fallout of Secret Wars, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's basically they came to be after the fact of like Secret Wars.
Galactus becoming the Life Bringer, and then Master Order and Chaos, and in between her like killing the Living Tribunal.
Logos.
Oh, I miss Logos. That was such an awesome design. I love
which. I have questions now. Since they're doing God, I know this is another segue. Since they're doing the God storyline, and the Beyonder's back, where's Logos?
Well, I remember. They separated again? T'Challa tapped into the power of his authority of a king, and I think it was also.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
From White Tiger. It was,
yes. Okay, you're right. Yeah,
I'm not really big into the gods thing. I mean, it has promise, but it's like, okay, so these are just avatars. They're human beings that have been empowered by like the powers that be and the things that should be. It's like, come on. I'm gonna need some more details here. Like, okay, so this guy's supposed to be like
this is a two-part.
This is supposed to be like the Marvel version of John Constantine, and then his wife is on the other side. She shot him to prove her loyalty. It's like, okay, so who are these characters? Are they anything like Eternity or Mistress Death or Oblivion? Where do they stand in things? It's like, I need like some info dump, because so far not impressed.
Oh well, granted, the two parts of Marvel that I will always live for and have time for and make time for is the cosmic side of Marvel as well as the magic side of Marvel. Those two places are where I live and breathe and thrive.
Oh yeah.
And gods, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
Where like they defeated the guy by having him read that book that would like consume you because it makes you want to read it more, and It's like that's literally something Doctor Strange could have done. All these shenanigans of you going to all these various characters to make these trades is something Strange could have easily done. I hate to say that. I mean, because it's an interesting concept. Like, I had some hopes that, like, because the thing is, we find out in the Ultimates that this is a new iteration of the universe. This isn't this is like the 8th iteration. More or less, it's number 7 copy and pasted, but it's still new, and it's got like all the old cosmic rules are being rewritten. That's how Master Order and Lord Chaos were able to kill the Living Tribunal and try to become like the new Living Tribunal, and how Galactus was able to become the Lifebringer and all that. So I was kind of like thinking like maybe this is going to have something to do with that, like something that's been rewritten or something new, something we haven't seen before, maybe new gods that are a result of these new rules being written that didn't exist before. Like, kind of like, Logos showing up as a result of those two fusing, or well, 3, I think the in-betweener. And, it kind of makes you wonder, okay, so are things back to normal-ish, or what are the new rules? Like, yes, God's really... I'm just not feeling it like I was hoping I was. Maybe I need to pay more close attention, but I mean, I don't see anyone talking about it like some other comics, you know what I mean?
I mean, there's just me. Not on Twitter currently, but like I talk about it among to my boyfriend, my friend.
Like, it's like, like you guys, I just need something to find out they're making these avatars seem like they're supposed to be godly beings or something, because like in the last Hellfire Gala they kind of mock magic a little bit, where they're like, oh yeah, isn't this where you guys said that the world had new gods? Good luck in a couple minutes. It's like they just talked like a lot of smack, and
but yeah, no, the Ultimates is my favorite storyline with Spectrum, because that shit.
Oh yeah, it's like that was like ever since she showed up in my Avengers, she's just been like on a steady rise. It's like, talk about a comeback. And I'm here for it. I'm loving it. Give her her own series. Because I would love to see her, just doing her own thing, not teaming up with anyone. I mean, except on occasion, but exploring her abilities more. Like, is she for sure canonically a mutant? I think if Ms. Marvel can become a mutant or have mutants and join the X-Men, let her do it.
Okay, again, we're getting sidetracked here because mutant. I have lots about Kamala. So Kamala's a mutant, but also an inhuman. But her human powers activated for her mutant powers. Her mutant powers still have not activated yet. Wonder what they're going to be.
Well, naturally, the first thing everyone thinks is it's going to be like her MCU version.
That's why I was thinking,
it's like
with like the way she can manipulate light, make light into a physical object or whatever.
And she just like combines that with her embiggening, so it's pretty much just like the MCU version.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not like that. And if it is like that, they have it that she can't do one while she's doing the other because it's like 2 power sets or something. Which, I mean, it's kind of pointless because when she's manipulating light, she can just, basically do the embiggen thing. But then if she's doing like the shape-shifting thing, which comes with her inhuman powers, she can't be manipulating light.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they work.
I know, and it would also be cool. It'd also be cool to see a future storyline about that, the fact that she's part inhuman, part mutant, because, like, for the longest time, we thought that, like, Crystal and Quicksilver's daughter is half and half, but then the whole retcon about, the twins not being Magneto's kids and not being mutants, went out the window. And then, if I remember correctly, it was during Avengers versus X-Men versus the Inhumans, where Sinister revealed that he tried making clones that were like parts mutants and Inhumans, but he doesn't mix well or something. I remember that correct.
Yeah.
And then the whole Terrigenesis being lethal to mutants, but then for her, they're like, oh, it's because you were a mutant at the time. You probably would have died, maybe. Becoming a human first is what saved your life. It's like, I do anything. They're gonna do a what if, or what if Miss Marvel was a mutant first? Then
right? That would be.
And then like it leads up to like Inhumans versus X-Men, and then it's like she gets hit with the Terrigen cloud, but then goes through Terrigenesis. Ooh, I wonder what my Inhuman powers will be. But I would like to see them delve more into that. Like, I mean, what's it mean to be like, you got like these two lineages of great power inside of you? How's that going to affect her life? I mean, is she ever going to have to become like, you know, the Avatar, where she's like the bridge between two worlds? And, you know, are there any other Inhuman mutants out there? I mean, it probably won't be for like a long time, but like I'm one of those people where like I read something and all of a sudden I'm like, my mind just starts like, you know, connecting dots, and I'm literally like the meme of that guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like at the board with all like the dots connecting and everything.
Yes, literally.
I'm like, this could lead into this because this could really connect well into that. You have to connect the dots, and it's like you gotta remember there's like 70 years of lore and storylines. Some have been forgotten, some have been retconned, and this and that. Yeah, I mean, you know, making Monica immune. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but you know, if that's the road they go in, oh well, put her on the X-Men. Let her work with Storm again. Let her work with all these mutants that have all these energy abilities. Like, let her turn into psionic energy. Give armor a boost, maybe, because, you know, she gets like psychic armor that's powered by her family's ancestral memories or something, and every time a family member dies, you know, her power gets stronger. But then get Monica turning into freaking pure psionic energy to give her a boost, and damn. Or working with Storm again, or working with Cyclops. What would happen if she gave him a power up? Be like, you know, would this guy be shooting that energy out of every pore of his body, or what? Oh, and then Emma turns into Diamond, then she freaking becomes light or some kind of energy and just like reflect. Emma just becomes literally like the world's deadliest disco ball. Death by rainbow.
Yes. Death by rainbow.
They did it for the gays.
Oh my god. Give it to the gays.
Like, happy pride, bitches. Oh, see what I mean? Like, just ideas, like, just like little things like that. But
most definitely.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm more familiar with Marvel, and I kind of like Marvel just a little bit more than DC, because it's easier to remember, like, everything with Marvel. Because, like, with DC, they're always doing, like, some kind of crisis, or a flashpoint, or some storyline that creates a whole new Earth with, you know, retconned or reimagined backstories or whatever. It's like, so I gotta remember that Earth 2, where it stops and connects, and then about when these two worlds got merged together, so that's why there's new backstories, and then this happens later on, so that's why there's like this rebirth of the new 52. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's so difficult trying to keep track of all these like different conflicting continuities and reimaginings and retcons. It's like, oh Jesus. But I mean, I get you have to do it sometimes, but it just seems like they've done it too much, especially lately. So now it's like,
oh yeah, it gets kind of a mess. Like, which iteration are we in?
I have no idea, because like they were saying that like the one crisis was supposed to be the last, like the Death Knight's medal or something. That was supposed to be like a last crisis, I heard, but then the next year they were doing a crisis where the Great Darkness was controlling people, especially the villains, and that was going on, and so I don't know, like all these crisis on Infinite Earths, crisis here, crisis there, crisis everywhere. It's like
they just have a lot of crises.
I know, it's like I get that was like a huge thing back in the day, and that like was like one of their best storylines. But my God, talk about beating a dead horse. It's like is Superman even still from Krypton at this point? Because like,
I mean, yeah, I think so.
And then like the fact that him and Lois have a son only because some reality bending shenanigans or something. Yeah, because didn't like Superboy Prime was like using his super strength, and somewhere I can't remember where, but it caused like the shockwaves or something created like time ripples or something.
God only knows what's going on over there. I don't have time for DC. I will have my boyfriend happily explain wherever the girls go on DC.
I'm reading like
otherwise.
I read Wonder Woman and Poison Ivy and Static Shock. I think that's a milestone thing, but so like I'm not anti DC by any means. Like I wish the DCU had done better. I mean, it's like they had a few like some of their movies I like, but the other ones like I'm gonna make a confession. Like I'm breaking my silence right now. I was not a big fan of Zack Snyder's movies. Like, I mean, there were things I did like a more realistic approach of what happens when Superman's battling other Kryptonians in Metropolis.
Again, we may get sidetracked here. Again.
Oh yeah.
You're telling me you didn't like the Justice League 4 hour cut?
No, I actually did like that a little bit more than the Justice League version, but only because like I felt like it explained things a lot better in certain ways. I love what they did with Cyborg. Like in the Justice League version, Cyborg is just a cyborg. He next to computers. He's got like the sonic boom thing, laser gun. But then you see him in Snyder's version where he's literally connecting to the entire internet. He can access nukes. He gave that poor woman thousands and thousands of dollars. Like he can literally, that's like the scale of power this guy has. I love that.
But does DC have a Tyrannosaurus Rex Doctor Doom? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I love Marvel, but goddamn, they can become so campy sometimes.
Oh, it's so bad. That's so good. I'm literally looking at the shot where it shows Doctor Doom with his Tyrannosaurus Rex counterpart, and it's like the greatest thing on this goddamn earth.
Tyrannosaurus Spider-Man.
That's
Spider-Rex
hilarious.
And like the whole universe where it's like basically everyone's some kind of dinosaur.
It's so good. I love it. It's so camp.
And then there was that one series, where it was like just like these like outrageous comedy what if versions, like what if Black Bolt snored when he slept.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Everyone's dead.
Well, no, it's
corpses
like
everywhere.
Each stories to tell him, but somehow everyone survives, and he's still in bed with Medusa, sleeping peacefully while everyone's like running towards him. Like, dang it, Black Bolt.
Damn.
I also liked. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest. I really wasn't into Steppenwolf's design for the Snyder cut. I mean, he just looked like someone took a bunch of knives and like an alien and put them in a blender together. Also, like at first, I'm like, how the hell does he get that suit on? Look at those freaking horns he has, or something, And then it turns out like it's just like nanotechnology where like it just shrinks or whatever. It's like, oh, that's just a part of his head. Okay. Then like the explanation that like the mother boxes woke up because Superman died. It's like they literally had like 10,000 years to wake up and alert someone they were there. They didn't do that, and they could have done that sooner. Or I did love also like the fights with the flashback where it's showing all the alliances and everything. Like we see more of the Greek gods fighting Darkseid instead of Steppenwolf, which was really cool. Like Zeus and Ares teaming up to fight against him, and then him killing the Green Lantern. And just more of that. And you get to see the Atlantean King fighting. That was cool. I love that. That was cool.
No, it was certainly
And
was.
also the fact that they didn't have that village was populated, because you're telling me this is supposed to be like a failed nuclear reactor or something, and there's people still living here. It's like, I get some people are unfortunate in life and everything, but you can't tell me these people aren't developing cancer or 3 eyes or something like that. And
Great, yeah.
of course,
Most
the
definitely.
Flash scene where, like, he goes back in time. I love that. That was awesome. So yeah.
Now to reel it back, because I mean, it's, again, don't ever think it's your fault. It's not. I'm just as guilty here. It happens to me all the time. Everyone, we're all perfectly fine here. To reel it back, what do you hope happens with Monica's story now in the MCU as well as the comics? What would you like to see happen?
In the comics, like I said, I would love to see her get like a continuing series. I still feel like there's so much more they can do with her character, and so much they can explore with her powers and abilities. And especially now that she is, quoting fingers, a mutant. Bring her into the X-Men, see how she does that. See how a former Avenger joining the X-Men, being revealed to be a mutant, how she has to deal with that. Now she has to, because before she's having to deal with being a black woman, but now she has to deal with being a black woman and a mutant, and the extra baggage that comes with that, kind of like what Kamala's going through, just what can they do with her? Like, what can they do with her that isn't related to the Marvel legacy, anything to do with Carol or Captain Marvel or any of the Marvels? What kind of cosmic hijinks can she get involved with? What kind of earthly matters could she get involved with? Stuff like that, I mean, you got a woman that can literally turn into any kind of energy. I want to see more of that. What can she do by turning into like these different kinds of energies? What kind of abilities can she tap into? Like, what kind of special, like, little things, like, connecting minds and stuff like that. And then, well, for the MCU one version, I just want to see Teyonah Parris come back ASAP. Like, I want to, just because I love how she depicts Monica so much, and like the fight scene with her and the Kree, like she sends that guy flying, and she turns into light, flies right through him, then becomes solid just so she can kick him onto the floor. It's like, hell yes. More of that. I love seeing that. And then, maybe she has to deal with Galactus, because, I mean, if the power cosmic is anything like cosmic radiation or cosmic energy or anything like that, what if Monica is able to duplicate that? What if she becomes his new herald? Like, imagine what she could do as a herald of Galactus. That would be a cool storyline. Like, with like these, herald powers from Galactus. What could she be capable of then?
After seeing Thor become Galactus's herald for a minute, I would love to see what Monica would be like.
Like Thor, and now he's a herald, but he took Galactus out way too easily. Like, even after they let him feed on the planets that he was never supposed to feed on because they make him too powerful and his hunger too powerful. I mean, yeah, he did just get, like, smacked down by, like, the Black Winter or whatever, but you're telling me he got taken out by Thor that easily?
I mean, Thor is already powerful as it is, and you give Thor the power of cosmic.
I know.
It's not that far.
I mean, if he had the Odin Force or Thor Force, whatever you want to call it, but then we find out later on that, Odin has to die for him to inherit that. And it's like, I hate when that happens, when they get, like, these characters that are super powerful, that are supposed to be, like, D50 chance you really could die fighting this character, but then you get, like, something happens and they get taken out way too easily. I mean, I know it's Thor, he's the good guy, he's the main character, and he just got, like, a massive power-up. But at the same time, it's like, this is Galactus we're talking about. Like, I know this But then he's powered up by the planets and everything. What happened to that? Yeah, Thor's powered up, but so is Galactus, man.
Yeah, but I would love to see Monica with the power cosmic and like what that will do to her energy powers. What that would, because obviously she'd be able to like become the energy of the universe and shit to be able to use that a willy nilly. So that'd be. I would just love to see
she
that.
would become like her own, like something like a white hole. Like ironically enough, speaking about binary and white holes and everything. But like, I mean,
yeah.
She can turn to any kind of energy, but like, what if she could literally become like a living sun? Like she can grow to like the size of a sun or something.
No, I love that. But that's something
I think about. She's already like in a way an unlimited source of energy because she never dissipates. I mean, yeah, she like almost died when she hit that water as lightning, but then like she's always constantly. In a form of energy, she keeps herself together. So it's like does that mean she's a limitless power source? Think of how many characters would want to use her to be like, an unlimited battery source for something. And that is how Monica Rambeau became the constant energy source for Galactus, thereby saving all these worlds or something. No one better do that. No, do not do that to Monica. No.
Did not do that. We need her alive.
It would also be cool to see maybe like more what if stories about Monica, like not just like what if the TV show, but also like just comics. Like what if she never was in her accident? She never left the Avengers. She never had to recover. What if she stayed Captain Marvel, or just random stuff like that. Or what if she never tried to hide her powers? What if she joined the X-Men at a young age? You gotta love them alternate reality version stories. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future has in store with her, both media on the television, big screen, and even on in the comics, of course. Who's going to be writing her, how they're going to write her. How she's going to develop as a character. I mean, she is kind of similar to Carol in a way where, they're both military women. They've both been she was in the Air Force, Monica was, Coast Guard. They've worked very closely together. Monica was on Captain America's side during the first Civil War, but then the second one, she was more on Carol's side.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see like maybe a conflict of interest between them where they kind of have to scuffle a little bit. And yeah, if I ever see someone tweeting about who's stronger, Carol or Monica, I will block them. Like I do not play that whole whose dick is bigger game. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, she can do all this, but could she fight Batman? Or she wouldn't be able to defeat Superman. Or oh, look at this, they were able to surprise her and blast her, and so technically they're better than her. It's like, no.
Well, to answer those questions, one, Bruce would not have no chance the first time around. If he were to survive the first time around, he might come up with a way to beat her the second time. Superman, on the other hand,
as soon as you say, well, if he had enough prep, I'm done with you. I'm giving you the hand. I'm blocking you. I'm cutting you out of my life. I am so sick and tired of the whole, oh, he can do anything with prep time. Shut.
I mean, technically, that's not necessarily a lie, but that's no. I'm that guy within reason. If he survives the first interaction and he knows what he's dealing with, second time around, sure. But majority of the time, when he goes against some of these people, he's not going to survive after the first time. But the initial time, no, he's going to lose. He's going to lose unless he does some deep dive research after the first time meeting Monica. He's not going to be able to beat her. He might be able to be more prepared, but like he's not going to be able to beat her unless he knows her ins and outs.
Any hero can beat someone, whether it's another hero or a villain, with prep time, because Superman is super smart. Like, even his intellectual, like, he can rapidly read books and store vast amounts of information. He was able to do surgery on Lois when she was at the hospital after reading a book about surgery and everything, and just like literally a matter of seconds, and use his thumbnail.
Now with Superman,
Plus, he's got like
Superman,
he's literally got Kryptonian technology. So
yes, but with Superman, all Monica has to do is God, she would have to not turn into kryptonite necessarily. She would have to like somehow encapsulate him and radiate the light of a what's the sun that would yeah, she would have to radiate the light of a red star, which I think she probably could do.
Because like there was this, I'm part of this, like, you know, I'm a member of a bunch of Facebook groups, you know, for like comics, DC, Marvel, all that. And someone did a post where name a comic book character you think would be able to defeat Superman. And I put down Monica. And I got people that were like, and I'm like, oh yeah, they were like, yeah, Monica. And of course you get the naysayers and they're like, oh, what's she gonna do? Yeah. Oh, he could just catch her. Turn to light, because last time I checked, being able to hold light isn't one of his abilities. And then I'm like, and then someone actually argued with me, because I'm like, well, she can turn into radiation, and we know that she's able to turn into energies from foreign universes, like the Green Lantern energy. She would definitely be able to turn into kryptonite energy. And they're like, you have such a basic understanding of Superman. That doesn't instantly kill him. It's lethal to him. It's why everyone gets their hands on it and uses it against him. It's where the whole kryptonite concept in real life comes from. Like, it's what keeps him paralyzed. It's what keeps him from breaking free. It's what is used often to keep him from using his powers. And like you said, she could turn into the wavelength of a red star. She can make it so that as kryptonite, he can't touch her because he can't hold radiation, and she can just stand there and watch him suffer. Or if she wants to be real nasty, Auntie Monica can like turn to kryptonite, then enter his body and just irradiate him from the inside out.
Because the way I would do it is, I was Monica. The way I do is radiate the light of a red star, weaken him, and then do the kryptonite and fuck him up.
I really want it to be a bitch. She could turn, the yellow kryptonite that takes away permanently.
Yes. So yeah, no, Superman has no chance against Monica Rambeau.
It was just so funny. Like, funny how, like, you know, some people, they just refuse to accept facts and the abilities. Like, it wouldn't kill him, maybe not right away, but it would hurt like hell, and
eventually.
So that's I always love thinking, you know, she would have faced Superman or Wonder Woman or any of them other like DC characters. I mean, like I said, magic she can't do, so she can't be turning into like a living Crimson Bands of Sidorak or whatever, but still, because she's got to have some weaknesses. And, you know, even Proxima Midnight, her spear was able to mess up the photons that make up her body, so she was literally like, you know, dying until Blue Marvel helped her out. And like, if that's what she's like, you know, with Blue Marvel pumping up her powers, what would happen if she got like a power boost from, like we said, Galactus or something like that? I mean, she literally helped Vision fight Nyx, the goddess of night. And that was after she got all her power restored and everything. So it's like, don't sleep on her. Do not say anything bad about her. Do not talk about her being weak. You do not know Monica, but don't worry, you're going to learn soon.
Read a book.
Just read a book. Read a book that has Monica in it.
Read a comic book.
Read her showing her fighting these characters and winning. We need more. People need to be properly educated. It's like, unless you read the comics, oh, I don't know this character. Yeah, that's Grunwald's fault, but yeah, no, you don't know her. You don't know her abilities. You don't know her limits. So before you can say she can't do this, just sit, be there.
Yeah.
But
So on that note, final thoughts on today's episode on Monica Rambeau.
Final thoughts.
Anything else?
Well, you're probably gonna have to spend like a whole hour editing this because going off topic. But I'm really happy. Monica, like I said, she's taking her place among the greats again. She's getting her fan base is becoming stronger and stronger, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to support a character who she had come out now. Of course it'd be a big uproar because, her being, and by now, of course, there's been more characters of color that have joined the Avengers. Then she's the first. Before anyone else, there was Monica Rambeau. She was the first team leader, the first one to join. She's got that iconicness. She's got that history. She's got the power. She's got the looks. And it really warms my heart to see someone that was shunned for misogynistic reasons. Because why else? It's like the editor. I mean, we know editors can be dicks sometimes. When there's no reason to all of a sudden have it that she's too inept to be team leader when she was a member of the Coast Guard. Her whole issue was not getting promoted to higher rankings because of her gender and also skin color, I'm sure.
Oh no, you most definitely.
Then to see her rise up like a freaking phoenix, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Ooh, Monica Rambeau with the Phoenix Force. Because let's face it, everyone's getting the Phoenix Force. Like before, it was just Jean. Then it's like anyone that's an Omega.
Yeah.
Now it's like everyone get a Phoenix Force. You get a Phoenix Force. Like, but so yeah, and there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of people that can get just as inspired from her as they could from Storm. That's just how I feel. I feel like if you actually do the research, if you actually look at the history, actually look at her properly in the comics, the right stories and everything, because on Twitter they talk about the Ultimates, they talk about the Mighty Avengers, that has gotten people more and more into Monica, into her past, and I want to see more of that. I don't want to see her once more fade into obscurity as a sideline character or a secondary character. I want her to stay in the spotlight. I want to see her lead the Avengers again.
Yeah.
And I even this would be a good moment to plug in my own shameless OC hero character.
Go for it.
Yeah, like so many people, I came up with my own hero character. His code name is Seraph, real name Michael Wilkin, and I have it that just like Kamala has Carol, he has Monica, and she's his his favorite. Growing up, he'd always watch her on TV. He's got all the merchandise. He still wears the T-shirts and everything, and when she was in her accident, he even wrote her a letter hoping she would get better. And because he's a mixed race, his mom is Japanese, his dad is black and Jewish. Yeah, lots going on right there. And then the fact that he was a fan of a woman, and having to listen to people mock her, saying she shouldn't be Captain Marvel, she's not a man, there's only one Captain Marvel. And I feel like that ties in great with him, because him having to deal with being such a unique mixed race and having to deal with all this passive aggressive and racism and everything like that, having to hear all these jokes about the Jews and black people and Asian jokes, and then you get people disrespecting his hero because of her gender and skin color, and then what happens to her, that and still loving her even after all these years, and being able to finally meet her, someone he looks up to and respects and all that. was my love for Monica in a way that, that was something later I added in. I felt like if he could really connect with anyone, it would be Monica. Because, just because, their backgrounds and everything and the things they've had to deal with. And, every good hero needs a good, every hero has a hero, what they say.
Yeah.
So yeah, more Monica, more Photon, more Auntie Monica, let's go Team Monica.
Team Monica!
And real quick note, Genesis. Fuck Genesis. Stay away from Monica. Do not be thinking you can take Photon again. I don't care who your daddy is. I don't care how powerful you are. No. Taking enough from her. Stay away from her.
Period.
Exactly.
No, I'm just saying. I want to see more Monica. Maybe get a series on like the same level as like Carol's main staple series has been going on forever. So like, just more Monica. Bring her back into the Avengers team, maybe, because she hasn't been on the Avengers team in a hot minute.
I mean, when was the last time she was on an Avengers team? I think when they fought Nick.
As far as the mains, yeah. I mean, yeah, but like I'm talking about when she's on like the actual like main title Avengers for longer than just like
she was
an
also
event.
on the Thunderbolts. I don't know. I don't think they're doing that series anymore.
Oh, that's true.
She was. It was kind of like.
That's true. She
was like
on
keeping an eye on them for Luke Cage or something like that with Hawkeye.
No, you're right. I forgot that she was on the
I was like,
Thunderbolts. That'd be cool to bring her into the Thunderbolts movie.
Oh, if only she wasn't in another dimension. But I would love
right?
her in a leading role. Like, make her the team leader. Make her the one making the tough calls and everything.
Yeah.
That's another thing I would love to see, and I know a lot of people would love to see.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I got. her MCU comic. That's all I got.
Yeah. So on that note, hey, would you like to plug in anything that you're doing, or you're plugging your Twitter again?
Yeah, my Twitter is Fused Twilight.
Fused.
Like fusion, like fused Twilight.
Fusion. Sorry, Fusion Twilight. Yeah.
FUSED TWILIGH.
Sorry.
Yeah. Funny enough, some people think I might have gotten that from the Twilight series. I actually got that from The Legend of Zelda. Because one of the items on there, you have to find the Fused Shadow, and then it was like Twilight Princess. So I just, I'm like, when I first got Twitter, I'm like, Fused Twilight. Okay, yeah. I like the ring of that. Yeah.
That works. Yeah, so his Twitter name will be in the description below if you would like to go follow him, as well as like everybody else that's been on this lovely show so far. So thank you guys for listening. Yes, it's a Monica stan. We stand Monica here.
It's like, it's not like, I'm just gonna message him just so I can talk shit about Monica. You better not. I don't care what I say. Other than that, I mean, I love collaborating with other characters. Like we met on a chat room about comics and everything. I love being part of that. I love going over, what the things do and don't like about, storylines or whatever, what they hope to see. I love coming up with like OC heroes. Like I got probably 20 pages written up. Just like of these random ass characters I've come up with. I am the comic guy. I'm the comic nerd. I wear my title proud. I was there. I'm the guy that grew up in the 90s with all the classics and everything. It really is great to see how far, geeks and nerds have come. Instead, I mean, you still get parodied a bit, like the big glasses and being wimps and everything, but then you find out that, these big wig guys like Henry Cavill, who love Warhammer and love playing online games and is a fan of The Witcher and everything. And there's nothing wrong. It's not something to be ashamed of. Just because you like comics or are a nerd in some form or fashion doesn't mean you're a wimp. Doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean just something you're into. It's like you can finally say it with pride.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's go follow him on Twitter. My Twitter handle, as well as, of course, there's House of Ideas _pod on Twitter, as well as my personal Twitter at Neonic Pumpkin King. So thank you guys for listening to today's episode, and catch me next time as I talk about another character with a new guest. Until then, bye.